Imagine facing any situation with total clarity. Imagine if you could navigate life without being controlled by fear, anger, or frustration. Instead of reacting impulsively, you could act with intelligence, control, and absolute calm. That's exactly what the Stoics did. They lived through wars, betrayals, losses, and extreme challenges, yet they remained unshaken. They didn't just survive, they thrived. But how? How is it possible to keep your mind steady in the midst of chaos? How can you resist negativity, stress, anxiety, and fear of the future? The answer lies in the practice of Stoic philosophy, not as a distant theory but as a daily code of conduct. To the Stoics, philosophy wasn't something to be read, it was something to be lived. And that's exactly what you're about to learn. 50 Stoic rules for a better life, a set of timeless principles that can make you stronger, more resilient, and more prepared for any situation. If you apply these rules, nothing and no one will have the power to shake you again. The foundation of Stoicism: clarity and self-mastery. If you want to master yourself and live with greater clarity, you need to understand the foundations of Stoicism. This philosophy isn't about ignoring emotions or passively accepting everything. It's about acting with intelligence and discipline, regardless of circumstances. The Stoics built their lives on 4 essential virtues. White heavy checkmark: wisdom. The ability to see reality as it is and make decisions based on reason, not emotion. White heavy checkmark: courage. The strength to do what is right even when it's difficult or painful. White heavy checkmark: justice. Choosing what is right over what is easy or personally beneficial. White heavy checkmark: temperance. The self-control to avoid being a slave to your desires and impulses. But these virtues only make sense when we understand a fundamental Stoic concept: the dichotomy of control. Everything in life falls into 2 categories. Keycap 1: what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, our choices. Keycap 2: what we cannot control, other people's opinions, the past, unexpected events. We suffer because we try to control what is beyond our reach. But when we accept this division, we free ourselves from what we cannot change and focus on what truly matters. This is not weakness, this is power. Strengthening your mind, discipline and clarity. The mind is like a muscle. Either you strengthen it daily or it weakens and becomes a prisoner of distractions, impulses, and uncontrolled emotions. The Stoics knew that self-mastery is the foundation of a strong and balanced life. If you don't control your mind, the world will do it for you, through excess information, instant gratification, and the constant need for validation. Here are 3 Stoic rules to strengthen your mind and develop discipline. Keycap 1: control your impulses before they control you. Every time you feel the urge to react without thinking, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, will this reaction help or harm me? If it's not useful, let it go. Keycap 2: learn to wait. Rushing leads to poor decisions. If something feels too urgent, wait a little before acting. Time reveals the truth. Keycap 3: do hard things on purpose. Seneca believed we should expose ourselves to small discomforts to train the mind. Take cold showers, eliminate distractions, resist instant gratification. The more you challenge yourself, the stronger you become. Self-mastery doesn't happen by chance. It's a daily practice. And those who master themselves cannot be controlled by anything else. Amor fati, turning challenges into strength. Life doesn't always go according to plan. Bad things happen. People disappoint you. Obstacles appear when you least expect them. But what if, instead of resisting and complaining, you learn to accept everything as part of your growth? The Stoics called this amor fati, the love of fate. It doesn't mean resignation, but rather embracing every situation as an opportunity. Marcus Aurelius said, "What happens, happens for a reason." If something crosses your path, it's because you can use it to your advantage. Here's how to apply amor fati in daily life. Keycap 1: when something goes wrong, ask yourself, what can this teach me? Instead of resisting, look for the lesson. Keycap 2: see challenges as training. The difficulty you face today is preparing you for something greater. Keycap 3: stop fighting the past. You can't change it, but you can change how you react to it. Focus your energy on what is within your control. A Stoic doesn't just endure difficulties, he uses them as fuel for growth. Because in the end, life doesn't break you, it shapes you. The power of silence, mastering your reactions. Not every provocation deserves a response. Not every problem needs an immediate reaction. True power lies in strategic silence. The Stoics knew that most mistakes don't come from what happens to us, but from how we react. And most regrets come from words spoken in the heat of the moment. Seneca said, "Listening more than speaking is a rare but essential skill." Here are 3 Stoic rules to use silence as a tool and avoid unnecessary conflicts. Keycap 1. Pause before responding. When you feel anger, frustration, or the urge to react, wait 3 seconds. In that small gap, you'll often realize you don't need to say anything. Keycap 2. Not every attack deserves your attention. People act on impulse, project their frustrations, and test your patience. But the truth is, you only lose if you play their game. Keycap 3. Reflection is a powerful weapon. The Stoics had a habit of reviewing their actions at the end of the day. Ask yourself, did I react with wisdom or emotion today? This daily review prevents repeated mistakes. Silence is not weakness. It is a shield against poor decisions. Because those who control their words control their future. How to handle criticism like a Stoic. People will criticize you. They will doubt you, attack you, and try to destabilize you. But none of this can affect you, unless you allow it. The Stoics understood that other people's words only have power if you give them power. Marcus Aurelius said, if someone insults you, remember, it's just their opinion. Nothing more. So how do you deal with criticism and insults without losing your composure? Keycap 1. Don't take ownership of what isn't yours. If someone insults you, that insult belongs to them, not to you. It's a reflection of their mind, not your reality. Why absorb something that isn't yours? Keycap 2. Use strategic indifference. What frustrates a provocateur the most? Not being able to provoke. If someone expects a reaction from you and gets nothing but calmness, they lose their power. Keycap 3. Turn criticism into growth. If a criticism is unfair, ignore it. But if there's something useful in it, use it as a mirror for self-improvement. No words can hurt you if you decide they are just background noise. Because in the end, those who control themselves don't need the approval of others. Discipline is not a talent, it's a muscle. Like any muscle, discipline must be trained every day. The Stoics knew that the quality of your life depends on the quality of your routines. It's not the big moments that shape your character, it's the small daily decisions. Now the question is, will you just understand Stoicism or will you live it? Seneca once said, life is like a play, the length doesn't matter, only how well you perform it. And the best way to perform your life well is by structuring your day in a way that strengthens your mind and spirit. Here are 3 Stoic practices to build discipline and focus. Keycap 1. Start your day with intention. Before grabbing your phone or getting lost in the chaos, ask yourself, what do I need to do today to be my best self? Keycap 2. Eliminate what steals your time. Social media, pointless conversations, distractions. Stoics focused only on what was essential. Ask yourself, is this bringing me closer to or further from my purpose? Keycap 3. Create small daily challenges. Take a cold shower, wake up at the same time every day, do something uncomfortable. The mind grows stronger when tested. Discipline is not a limitation, it is true freedom. Whoever controls their routine controls their destiny. The power of less, Stoic minimalism. We live in a world of excess. Excess information, worries, distractions. We want more, chase more, accumulate more, and in the end we feel empty and overwhelmed. The Stoics saw things differently. To them, the less weight you carry, the farther you can go. Stoic minimalism is not just about owning fewer things, it's about eliminating the non-essential to focus on what truly matters. Seneca said, a man is not poor if he has little, but if he desires more than he needs. Here's how to apply Stoic minimalism in your life. Keycap 1. Detach from what doesn't serve you. Ask yourself, does this help me or just distract me? This applies to objects, habits, and even people. Keycap 2. Simplify your mind. Not every problem deserves your worry, not every conversation deserves your attention. Focus on what truly makes a difference. Keycap 3. Value simplicity. Joy is not found in quantity but in depth. Instead of wanting more, appreciate what you already have. Clarity comes when you stop carrying what you don't need. What is weighing you down today that you can let go of? The power of reflection. Stoic journaling. Most people go through life unaware of their own mistakes, repeating the same patterns, falling into the same traps. They react but they don't reflect. The Stoics did things differently. They had a simple but powerful habit: writing. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest emperors, recorded his reflections every day, not for others but for himself. His personal journal later became one of Stoicism's greatest works, Meditations. Seneca advised, at the end of the day ask yourself, what did I do wrong? What did I do well? What can I improve? Here's how to apply Stoic journaling in your life. Keycap 1. At the end of the day, write down 3 questions. What did I do well today? Where did I lose control of my emotions? What can I improve tomorrow? Keycap 2. Be brutally honest with yourself. Your journal isn't meant to impress anyone, it's meant to show you the truth. Keycap 3. Review your notes periodically. This will help you identify patterns and track your growth. Stoic writing isn't just journaling, it's a mirror for your mind. Are you ready to face it? Negative visualization. Preparing for the worst. Most people fear the worst. They avoid thinking about failure, rejection, or loss. They hope nothing bad happens, but when it does, they're caught off guard and spiral into panic. The Stoics did the exact opposite. They prepared for the worst. This practice is called negative visualization, a mental exercise where you anticipate difficulties before they arrive. Not to live in fear, but to never be surprised. Seneca said, "If you want to avoid being knocked down by life's blows, rehearse for them every day." Here's a Stoic method for practicing negative visualization. Keycap 1. Imagine a challenging scenario. Losing a job, facing criticism, experiencing betrayal. What's the worst that could happen? Keycap 2. Ask yourself, if this happened, how would I respond? Think of solutions and strategies. That way, if it ever happens, you won't panic, you'll be ready. Keycap 3. Accept that nothing is permanent. Loss is part of life. By mentally rehearsing it, you remove its power to paralyze you. A Stoic is never caught off guard, because he has already faced everything in his mind before it happens. Mastering emotions. Stoic emotional control. Emotions can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. If you don't control them, they control you. Anger makes you say things you can't take back. Anxiety paralyzes you in front of opportunities. Frustration drains your energy and keeps you stuck in the past. But the Stoics had a method to deal with all of this, without being controlled by their emotions. Epictetus said, "It is not events that affect us, but our judgment of them." That means it's not what happens that destabilizes you, it's how you interpret the situation. Here are 3 Stoic strategies to master difficult emotions. Keycap 1. Cognitive distancing. When something upsets you, ask yourself, will this still matter a year from now? If the answer is no, it doesn't deserve your energy now. Keycap 2. Control your breathing before reacting. The Stoics knew that strong emotions equals impulsive reactions. Before responding, take 3 deep breaths. This puts your mind in control, not your emotions. Keycap 3. Become an observer of your emotions. Instead of saying, "I am angry," try saying, "I notice that I am feeling anger." This small shift creates a separation between you and the emotion, weakening its control over you. The difference between a Stoic and an ordinary person? The Stoic feels everything but chooses what to focus on. Memento Mori, remember you will die. If today were your last day, what would you do differently? What would you let go of? What would you finally have the courage to say or do? The Stoics practiced a powerful concept called Memento Mori, remember that you will die. But this idea wasn't dark, it was liberating. Seneca said, "Hurry to live well and think that each day is in itself a life." The problem isn't a lack of time, it's wasting time. We live as if we were eternal, postponing dreams, holding on to resentments, leaving important words unsaid. But the only certainty we have is that time won't wait. Here are 3 Stoic reflections to apply Memento Mori in your life. Keycap 1. Before bed, ask yourself, if I didn't wake up tomorrow, did I live well today? If the answer is no, something needs to change. Keycap 2. Value more, complain less. The people you love won't be here forever. Show appreciation while there's still time. Keycap 3. Stop postponing life. The only guarantee you have is now. Something matters, do it now. Remembering death is not a reason to fear, it's a reminder to live with more intensity, purpose, and presence. Gratitude, the key to true happiness. Dissatisfaction doesn't come from what we lack, it comes from failing to see what we already have. The Stoics understood that happiness isn't found in having more, but in valuing what already exists. They practiced a simple but powerful habit, conscious gratitude. Seneca said, "Happiness is not about having much, but about appreciating what you have." Now the question is, will you just understand these ideas or will you live them? The problem isn't what you lack, it's forgetting what you already have. We're always looking at what's missing, what could be different, what others have. But when was the last time you stopped to appreciate what you've already accomplished? Here are 3 Stoic exercises to practice gratitude daily. Keycap 1. Before bed, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Even on bad days, there's something to appreciate. A lesson, a moment, an opportunity. Keycap 2. Practice mental detachment. Imagine losing everything you have for a day. Then visualize the feeling of getting it all back. This instantly shifts your perspective. Keycap 3. Say thank you with intention, not just out of habit. Appreciate the small things, a smile, a kind gesture, a meaningful conversation. Gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's mental training to see life with more clarity and lightness. Embrace uncertainty instead of fighting it. Life will never go exactly as you planned. Things change. People leave. Plans fail. And the more you resist uncertainty, the more suffering you create for yourself. The Stoics understood this. Instead of fighting the unpredictable, they learned to accept it and use it to their advantage. Marcus Aurelius said, "Change is not something we should fear. Without change, nothing grows." The reality is simple. You don't have control over everything. But you do have control over how you deal with what happens. Here are 3 Stoic principles to face uncertainty with more calm. Keycap 1. Accept that the unknown is part of life. Nothing is guaranteed. And that's exactly what makes life interesting. Keycap 2. Be flexible like water. When reality changes, resist less and adapt more. A Stoic doesn't fight what's inevitable. He adjusts and moves forward. Keycap 3. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If it is, take action. If it's not, let it go. Wasting energy on what you can't change only steals your peace. Resilience isn't about controlling everything. It's about knowing how to flow with life without losing balance. Knowledge without action is useless. Knowing something and living it are 2 completely different things. You can read about Stoicism, watch videos, understand the concepts. But if you don't apply them, nothing changes. Seneca said, "Knowledge without action is useless." How many times have you thought, "This makes sense, I need to apply this in my life," but then continued acting the same way? Real change happens in practice, not in theory. Stoicism was not meant to be studied, it was meant to be lived. Here's a Stoic plan to turn knowledge into action. Keycap 1. Pick one lesson and apply it today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. If an idea resonated with you, turn it into a small habit now. Keycap 2. Reflect on your progress daily. At night, ask yourself, did I live today according to what I believe? Keycap 3. Commit to continuous practice. Philosophy isn't learned in a day, it's learned by living, failing, and adjusting every single day. What separates great thinkers from great leaders isn't what they know, it's what they do with that knowledge. Now it's up to you. Will you just understand it or will you live it? You now hold 50 Stoic rules for a better life, but what will you do with them? The Stoics taught us that it's not what happens to us that defines our life, but how we choose to respond. White heavy checkmark. What's outside your control shouldn't disturb you. White heavy checkmark. A more fatty teaches that even challenges are part of the path. White heavy checkmark. Silence can be your greatest strength instead of an impulsive reaction. White heavy checkmark. Memento Mori reminds you that life is too short to waste. White heavy checkmark. Gratitude and detachment are the keys to true peace. But none of this matters if you don't put it into practice. Now I challenge you. Which of these rules will you apply first? Pick one and comment below. Let's build a Stoic, strong, and unshakable mindset together. Remember, knowledge is just the beginning, transformation happens through action. And your change starts now.